Hey everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA. I love responding to these comments and questions that you have for me. So I made a video about what to do if you haven't filed your taxes in about 20 years. Okay. Jack Daniels, 26657, replied to that video and said, just don't pay it. Who cares? You got away with it this long. Now I would say, kind of off the record, look, if you have gotten away with the IRS not going after you haven't filed taxes in 20 years, this probably means that you aren't, a prime target, for the IRS, right? But they can always come out of the woodwork, right? And I think we're going to see more of this with this new administration, which seems to be heck bent on getting rid of bodies at the IRS and replacing it more with systems and technology. But anyway, so I replied to that comment from Jack Daniels when I said, hey, that's one strategy. You might, it's a risky strategy. Though I think with the layoffs at the IRS, we will see more activity from ASFR. I kind of took for granted that people will know what I'm talking about because I have talked about this in other videos. But thankfully, Marty asked me, what the heck is ASFR? Put ASFR question mark. Marty, ASFR is the IRS's automated substitute for return program. Okay, so let's break that down. What is a substitute for return? A substitute for return, or SFR, and I've made a whole video about SFRs, links to that video at the top of the screen, is a document that the IRS prepares for you to calculate your tax liability for a year if you did not file your required tax return for that year. Kind of this isn't technically correct, but in layman's terms, it's the IRS doing your tax return for you, okay? And it's not a very favorable tax return. They don't give you any deductions except the standard deduction. They don't give you any credits. They don't give you any business deductions. If they think you're married, they're going to be married filing separately rather than married filing jointly. It's not a good document to have the IRS prepare for you. Okay, so that's what an SFR is. ASFR is automated substitute for return. This is the automated substitute for return program. It's basically one big Sun Microsystems computer database thing in Baltimore, right? Where this computer, gets information from W-2s and 1099s and other tax documents that it has received in the Social Security number of those who have not filed the required tax returns, and it does all those tax return calculations, right? That's essentially what the ASFR program is. Obviously, there's support staff too, right? It's not just a computer. But as the name sounds, automated substitute for return, if I'm the IRS and, there's a bunch of people taking a buyout offer and, the government is saying we got to lay off a bunch of, staff, where I'm going to be putting resources is, these non-people intensive programs like the ASFR program, right? That's super low hanging fruit. Oh, Joe Smith, truck driver, got 1099 for $200,000. He didn't file tax returns. $200,000 a year. He hasn't filed a tax return in 5 years. Boom, boom, boom. Let's run that through ASFR. They can assess the tax liability based on what ASFR spits out, and they can start collecting on you, levying you, garnishing your wages based on what ASFR spits out. So if I'm the IRS and I'm losing manpower, woman power, people power, whatever you want to call it, I'm looking at those resources. But to answer your question, Marty, that's what ASFR is. It's the automated substitute for return ASFR program at the IRS that prepares these substitute for returns against people who do not file their tax returns. Folks, if this is you, if you haven't filed your tax return in multiple years, right? You're behind on multiple years of tax filing. Give us a call here at Choice Tax Relief. You qualify for a free consultation, nothing to lose. 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Or you can go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on the website, and we will reach out to you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I have some other videos on the side of the screen about what to do if you haven't filed some years of tax returns. And I'll see you in the next video, folks. Bye-bye.